Welcome back, Life Sciences, from that little break that we had. As I keep saying, it's always important just to get the blood flowing, get the heartbeat going, clear all the mind, and get the oxygen going. Remember, we're looking at revision of the human transport system. And so far, we've looked at the structure of the heart. We have looked at how the heart beats, right, and what controls the heartbeats. And the next thing we're going to look at is going to look at the blood vessels. Right, remember when it comes to all of this, so the terminology is so important, right? A whole lot of new terms, new words. They should be doing revision, right? They shouldn't be new to you, but again, sometimes they're really long words, right? And we do get confused and we get a little bit, all right? We're not quite sure what we're looking at, so make sure again that your terminology is spot on. This looks like a very complicated diagram, but I just want to tell you it's really important because the question that I've chosen is an essay question. And believe it or not, this essay question revolves around this whole thing, how blood circulates. Okay, so let's look at the first thing we need to understand. We've looked at the whole concept of the heart is going to pump the blood throughout the body. What on earth is this really complicated diagram means? This diagram means the following. Number one, okay, blood must come into the heart, right? There we have. So blood must come into the heart. And when I teach this, you must remember that blood must come in. It goes into the top. From the top, it goes to the bottom of the heart, and from the bottom of the heart, it goes out. That's all that it can do. It must do those things. So when we look at the blood vessels and circulation, you need to understand, right, that anytime anything that comes into the heart, we are going to call it, right, a vein. So it's not about what it talks, or what about it carries. Any kind of blood vessel, if it comes in to the heart, it's going to be a vein. Do you see here? If it comes in, it's going to be a vein. If it comes in, it's going to be a vein. If it goes away from the heart, A for away, right, we are always going to say that it is an artery. Now, I'm sure that you've realized a lot of the time that when we look at the heart, we use the colors red and blue. Why do we use that? We use blue to indicate blood that is what we call deoxygenated. What does it mean? Deoxygenated blood, that it has quite a lot of carbon dioxide. Right, so blood coming into the right-hand side of the body is filled with carbon dioxide, and we want to get it to the lungs. You will notice on the left-hand side, we often use red. And what does red tell us? Red tells us that it's oxygenated blood. What do we mean by oxygenated? We mean that the blood is rich in oxygen. So where has it come from? The lungs. So when we look at the blood vessels and the circulation, right, what are we looking at? How does the blood move from the heart? So where does it come in? What is the top part? Top part are the atria, right? What is the bottom part? The ventricles, right? And when I say out, I have two options. Where is the out going to? It's either going to go out to my body, or it's going to go to my lungs, okay? When it comes in, where's it come from? It's either come from my body, all right, or it has come from my lungs. A little bit confusing, but we will, all right, sort it out, make it a bit easier. Okay, so what do we have? Humans, or mammals, have what we call a double circulatory system. What does that mean? It means quite simply, look here, blood must come to our heart first. Then it must go to the lungs. And after the lungs, where must it come? Back to the heart. So basically, it does a double circuit where the heart, the blood comes to the heart twice. Once, all right, from the body, then it goes to the lungs, and those lungs is known as the pulmonary circuit. And then this nice, fresh, oxygenated blood goes back to the heart. The heart pumps it, and it takes it to the rest of the body. The rest of the body is called the systemic circuit. And I'm going to write over there, that is the body. It is this diagram over here. Okay, so the heart has its own circuit. It goes to the pulmonary, which is the lungs, and back again. That is my double circulation. Once the blood comes to my heart, it's filled with oxygen. Where must that blood go? It has two options. It must go to my head, all right? So my heart must pump all the blood to my head and to my arms, my upper body. Then where must the blood go? It must take all of this blood to these really important internal organs, my abdomen, my stomach, my liver, my kidneys, all right, my spleen, all of those. Each of them must receive, right, the blood coming in from my heart. And in turn, all of those are going to take blood back to the heart. Where else does my blood then need to go? Down to the very, very tip of my toe. And then it's got to come back up again. So as you can see, the systemic is all the different parts of my body that are going to need the blood. Okay guys, the next concept that we need to look at are the blood vessels. And the blood vessels, when we looked at the heart in the beginning, we might have looked at this concept called a closed circulatory system. We do. Mammals have a closed circulatory system. And what does that mean? It means the blood must stay in blood vessels. Now, if you have a look over here, what you must be able to do, right? An artery takes blood away from the heart. A vein brings blood to the heart. All right, now these two meet. Now these are really big blood vessels, the artery and the vein, right? They're really big, and our cells are really, really small. So what we need to have are these tiny little blood vessels in the middle that can facilitate all this movement, and those are going to be the capillaries. Now guys, when we look at the artery and the vein, they are slightly different in structure because they do things slightly more. Have a look, an artery's got a lot of muscle because it's got a pump, and the veins, they've got things back to the heart, so they've got valves to stop the blood flow. So you need to be able to, tell the difference between an artery and a vein and a capillary and why. All right. Now, what I've done is we're not going to have enough time to do all of the questions, but I'm afraid going through past papers, it seems that the circulation of blood is a really nice essay question. All right, so let's have a look here. Let's just do the plan of the essay, even though we might not have time to do the whole essay. It says, give a detailed description of the journey of a red blood cell as it travels from the right atrium. I like to draw this. Right, okay, right atrium, right ventricle, right A, right V, left A, left V, right? So the journey starts here. There's my little red blood cell. And how it goes, right, travels from the right atrium, here's our start, of the heart, round the body and back to the left atrium. So it needs to, come back over here. So basically what you have to tell me is this, the right atrium to the right ventricle. And you remember you must tell me, each time where it goes. So have maybe you can plan, it goes through the valves. Then where does it go? It goes through to the pulmonary artery. There we go. Don't have, and where is it going to? It's going to the lungs, where it picks up oxygen, right? And where does it come back with? A pulmonary vein. So for the first part of the question, you have to look at the whole transport. So it's not around the whole body. It's right, look here, in, top, bottom, out, to the lungs, and back again. What would the second part be? So this would be your first paragraph. That would be paragraph number 1, and that you would explain the whole of that. The second paragraph would be, tell me the difference between the arteries and veins. Don't draw a table, right? But what you can do, you can tell me arteries have a thick muscle, and you can say their veins have a thinner muscle. So there we go. Do you see I've taken 1 point and I've got 2 there. And I'll do that for all of the different parts of that. So as I say to you, essay 17 marks, all right? Usually 14 points that you have to come up with, and 3 points the teacher's going to give you for how well did you write your essay, did you have your concepts, etc. Okay, I'm afraid that's a little bit running out of time. We're going to have a little break and then we'll be right back.